today I'm exposing my 200K Amazon FBA business. I'm gonna be answering a lot of your questions that many of you commented in the video that I posted about my 200K side hustle. I am gonna be using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This video is not sponsored. I'm gonna be using this in order to show you the behind the scenes of my business because I think it's better than taking my mirrorless camera around, and that one is way heavier and harder to set up. So let's test this out. Okay, this is one of the main tools that we use for our Amazon business. This is kind of like an envelope knife. We use this a lot because look at this. It's really sharp. My mom is walking around with my baby. Whoa. Whoa. It's recording from the DJI Osmo right here. And you can see kind of like a behind the scene of my studio right now. So I'm gonna be walking through the entire process of how I run my Amazon FBA business. I do not work on it full time, not even part-time, barely touch the business right now because I am trying to sell everything that I bought OA and RA. So this is my warehouse. As you can see, most of the items that I'm selling are basically shoes and clothing. Some of them are hats and stuff like that, but they're pretty basic stuff. Adidas shoes, for example, right here, right? And Nike, New Balance, and stuff like that. So let's go over some of the questions that people have been asking. So this is one of the questions that one of you asked. Why do you need a DBA and EIN for your business? So when I sign up for the Amazon seller program, the first thing that they ask you is what is your business name or legal name, your either social security or EIN. You can use your personal legal name and your social security number, but I do not recommend it because Amazon reveal all this information in your public seller account or seller profile. So you don't want people looking you up by your legal name and also seeing where you live. So I recommend getting a DBA. DBA is pretty easy to get. You just go to your city or town and register a DBA. That's how I do it. And it was like $40 for 4 years or something like that. So it's not expensive. And then the EIN is also free to get. You can get it from the IRS website right away. You can Google how to do that. All right, so let's go over second question, which is how did you start selling on Amazon FBA? In the video that I talk about my entire first year journey on Amazon, I explain how I scale from 0 to 200K. And essentially the way I learn is just consuming a bunch of YouTube video. I follow a bunch of YouTubers or Amazon sellers that are on YouTube, also on Instagram as well. And then just like network my way and ask questions. And if I don't understand something, I basically try to Google or YouTube and learn that way. But honestly, the best way to learn is trial and error. You just have to dive in and take some action. See what they are saying on YouTube and try to replicate what they are doing, and you will learn as you go. That's how I did it. Okay, can this strategy work in Europe or all these other countries? There are a lot of people in like Latin America that I know of, or even in Europe, selling in the US platform, because the US one have like, I don't remember, 350 million active users or something like that, meaning that most of the money is gonna be in the US platform. And the way to do that is to set up an entity here in the US as a foreigner. So you have to get, I think, an EIN or a tax ID or something like that for yourself and for your business. That you will have to ask a professional lawyer because I don't know much about it. But basically you have to set up an entity to be able to do business here in the US and pay US taxes as well. What mentorship or consulting services would you recommend? I have personally purchased mentorship and consulting services that cost thousands of dollars. However, I do not recommend these courses or mentorship because I don't want people just going straight into investing so heavily when they haven't even tried themselves. Many cases, and that include myself, where I buy a bunch of courses and I do not end up taking advantage of them. I get desperate sometimes and I just buy courses, throw money into a problem that I have, not really getting the problem resolved. Honestly, the best way to do things is for you to test it out yourself, put some action into it, try to figure out what is the real problem or what are questions that you have, and then joining Discord servers. All right, so Discord servers are basically communities where you can ask questions and they give you leads. For example, Kohl's is having a 50% clearance event on this and this date or something like that. Or Marshall and TJ Maxx Yellow event is happening next week or something like that, right? Like that, those information are very essential for resellers because it is where you will find heavily discounted products. Some of the Discord servers that I am going to recommend and put in the description of this video, I actually joined as a member. If you use my referral link, I might be able to get a small commission out of it, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Those are really good servers that I have joined and I have made money from the information that they provided. Some of this Discord channel costs like $39 to like $100 a month, and honestly they are worth it because I joined one of them for like $79 for example, and I got over $1,000 in just a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I might talk about that one in a different video. That's pretty interesting. It's some sort of like coupon stacking. So now let's go over what happens if people don't buy your products on Amazon. So if people don't buy my products on Amazon, it's likely a bad buy. For example, so I might buy a product based on SellerAm data. SellerAm is a application, and I'm gonna show you an example. So a lot of people ask how we make money on Amazon. This is one way to do it, by scanning in discount store like Marshall and TJ Maxx. So for example, you can take a look at this. This is $39 for some Sperry boots. And on Amazon, the cheapest one is $79. So that's about $20 profit, 49% ROI. But you can see there's quite a bunch of people selling them. And some even sell for $120. And the cheapest is $79. This is actually part of my office where I package everything, like all the orders and stuff like that. And you can see some of the returns item that I have on the floor right now, and I actually need to work on them. What happens if people don't buy your product? If people don't buy your product, it's probably a bad buy. For example, I might buy a product based on the SellerAm app data. It might show 40% ROI with the cost of the product, but after like a week, it went from 3 sellers on the listing to like 40 sellers on the listing. So that means that now we have a lot of supply, but not enough demand. That could happen. There's a very high chance they're gonna tank the price, meaning that they are going to lower the price to maybe zero profit just to get out of it. Everyone is gonna follow suit and no one is gonna make money. If a product ends up in a lead list, that's probably what is gonna happen. Everyone knows about the product, everyone is gonna go buy it, everyone is gonna try to get rid of it as soon as possible. The other thing is, if I send the product to Amazon FBA or Amazon warehouses, Amazon is going to charge a bunch of different fees. A storage fee, which is going to increase the longer that item sit in the warehouse. In those cases, when it's been sitting in the warehouse and I don't want to tank the price, I don't want to lower the price, I will eventually recall it back and I will list it on eBay or Facebook Marketplace and sell it, hopefully for a little bit more profit. eBay is way better than Amazon in terms of profit because there's no return. The problem is that they don't have the same traffic, the organic traffic that Amazon usually brings for specific listing. So you might end up sitting on the product way longer, but you make a lot more. So many of you also ask this question of how do you handle Amazon returns? Amazon has created a very buyer-friendly return policy. Literally no question asked, 30 to like sometimes 90 days, and you can return the product. A lot of scammers take advantage of this. What they're gonna do is they buy a product and then they return something entirely different, and that have happened to me a couple of times. I have a pair of shoes that I sold, and suddenly I get back a random pair of shoes that is not even branded. In such cases, you can file a complaint with Amazon, providing photo evidence of what was received. They might give you money back. Amazon typically now have like a 60 to 90 days for you to verify the returns. After that, there's nothing you can do. And sometimes they return stuff that is broken. Well, we have to eat the loss, basically. There's nothing else we can do. This is why I only buy products with a 40% ROI. So for instance, if I buy something for $10 and the profit is $4, that's 40% ROI. This ensures that even with returns or losses, I remain profitable. So if the return product is actually new or it looks new, I can resell on Amazon. If they don't look new at all, then I sell on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. So my return rate is about 15%. So I account for this in my buy criteria. All right, now the next question is, how much capital did you start with and how did you manage it? So I started Amazon FBA business with about 7K in startup capital. To maximize my spending power, I basically applied for credit cards with 0% APR for about 12 months. This essentially acted as a interest-free loan for the first year. So over time, I was able to generate about 5 to 15K in monthly spend with the credit card and also what I invested. And then that's basically translate to about 10 to 40K in revenue per month. Meaning that if I spend 10K, I am looking to make 4K back. Now, how do you reinvest and handle pricing volatility? All right, so for my buy criteria, beside the 40% ROI, I also have a BSR of below 100K. BSR is basically the sell velocity. The lower the BSR, the faster it sells. So I usually try to sell within 60 days max. Most of them sell within 30 days. So not every product actually works out because of pricing volatility, seller coming into the product listing and tanking them. What we essentially try to do is to buy 80% of them winners, 20% of them loser is fine. We're still gonna be making profit. Okay, so what is a good profit margin for Amazon FBA? So a healthy profit margin for Amazon FBA is between 12 to 25%. In my first year doing RA, which is retail arbitrage, buying from retailer in a physical store, or doing online arbitrage, which is buying from online retailers, I average a 15 to 20% margin, profit margin. For example, with a 100K revenue, I was basically making about 15 to 20K in profit. But by the end of the year, I was spending and reinvesting so much into the business that I ended up with about 7% margin. 7% margin meaning for 100K of revenue, I was generating like 7K in profit. Again, this is basically me spending on courses and other expenses like traveling for conferences and reinvesting the money into different things of the business, buying more expensive software, buying more expensive equipment and things like that. But remember, I invested only 7K initially, and making 200K in revenue, basically 14K in profit, that's essentially making 200 ROI, return on investment. That's actually higher than the stock market, which usually return 7% ROI for the entire year. But here's the thing, the stock market is passive, while running a business requires a lot of time. All right, what tools do you use to manage your business? So I use Selleram for calculating profit per product by scanning the barcode. Sellerboard for tracking my profit and loss. Keepa for product research, mainly for online arbitrage. SmartScale for wholesale and brand direct research. BQual for repricing automation, meaning that for all the products that I have AI repricing it for me with a set minimum and a maximum, or if I have like an ROI that I want to hit and I don't want to go lower than that, the AI will ensure that it doesn't go lower than that. InventoryLab for inventory management and also profit tracking. How do you handle accounting? So I hire a CPA firm specializing in Amazon sellers and e-commerce. They basically use the tools like Sellerboard and InventoryLab to extract the inventory data and also handle the filings for me. So what's the minimum capital required to start? So you can actually start with as little as $500, but the problem is scaling it. It would take you way longer, so you have to reinvest the profit constantly, and you have to find winning product every single time to ensure that you don't blow through your $500. Now, how do you get ungated for restricted brands? So ungating is basically the process of getting approval to sell restricted brands or product like Nike and Adidas. Essentially need to provide documentation such as invoice showing the purchase of around 10 units. Sometimes Amazon now asks for 100 to 200 units, and they need to come from reputable retailer or distributor as well. So some products are actually hard gated, meaning that there's no way for you to get ungated unless you are an authorized reseller of the brand. So you need a letter of authorization from the brand. So what products do you sell? Mostly shoes, apparel, or toys, a little bit of everything, honestly. Do you need to drive traffic to your listings? So you only need to drive traffic to your listing if you're doing private label, essentially creating your own brand on Amazon, because there's no traffic going to them, right? Like people don't even know about your brand, so you have to create traffic. I do not do private label yet. That's like the ultimate goal for Amazon. Right now with online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, and even brand direct, I am buying products that are already listed on Amazon, so I don't have to create a bunch of marketing or traffic to the listing. How do you choose prep centers? So I use prep center in tax-free states. That essentially could save people from 5 to 10% if their state is like in the 10%. I don't know which state actually is in the 10%. Massachusetts is 6.25% on sale tax. So that's essentially what I save for certain products. Over here, they don't tax apparels and shoes. So technically, there's no sale tax for those products. And most of the prep centers require a monthly minimum units that you need to ship to them in order for them to take you as a customer. Most of them require a minimum of 200 units. Right now, I don't have really a prep center because I basically stopped doing OA and RA, and I'm trying to focus on brand direct. I'll be giving a brand direct and a wholesale update soon. Right now, it's not going well. Basically, I have like 30K stock in inventory that I have to get rid of. It's been like more than 60 days already, so I have to find a way to get rid of them and recover my money back and do a reset. So that's it for this video. If you have other questions that I did not answer, feel free to comment down below. Let me know if you like this kind of format where I basically walk you through some of the behind the scenes of the business. There's gonna be more coming soon, so I hope this one give you a lot more insight into the Amazon business. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.